Alrighty, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Spotlight. Today we have a new guest, Shayla Timm, who is a graduate of famous Madrid High School. No, that's why I know her, but I reached out to her because I see her on Instagram. You're always on vacation, always with your sorority, and just always doing cool things. So I've always wanted to talk to you and just see what you're up to and catch up. But I think with the opening thing that I want to know about you, and I think the people want to know about you, is like, what are the things that are important to you right now? Like, what would you talk about if you were to introduce yourself to others?
Yeah, so I guess, hi everyone, I'm Shayla Timm. Me and Elijah went to Madrid High School together, some good memes there.
For sure.
But I guess, like, most important in my life, and especially recently coming to college, is, like, faith. I go to St. Thomas Aquinas, so, like, I feel like my faith has grown so much since coming to college, which is really, really cool. And, of course, Alpha Delta Pi, my sorority. We'll probably say 85 throughout this.
Good.
And that and school and, those things take up a lot, especially school. So, honestly, last semester was extremely draining. So, I know that Instagram looks all fun and perfect, but there's definitely not always fun and perfect times. But, I would say school for sure, faith, sorority.
So, St. Thomas Aquinas, where is that? Where's that located? Yeah,
it's right on Lincoln Way, right by Buchanan, like right next to Buchanan almost.
Okay,
You cross Ash Ave, and it's right there.
Okay, I think I've seen it. I drive past it. I was like, this is your Ames lore coming in. But
it's like a 5-minute walk from my sorority, so it's kind of
okay.
nice.
So how'd you get introduced to that then?
Yeah.
Was that just searching for a church and then walking into one and then?
Well, sort of, kind of. We have a Bible study in AD Pi, so I feel like everything I've pretty much done and stuck with, like in college, has been like some type of support in Alpha Delta Pi, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Like there's people in AD Pi that also go to that church, and I'm Catholic and I was grown up, so kind of just comfortable.
It's just a nice walk over there, like with the girls
closest.
too.
Yeah, we always walk over.
That's actually super awesome. So do you have a Bible study unrelated to just for the sorority? Is that something that all the sorority girls do, or is that just like in your guys' sorority?
Yeah, that's a good question. So we have, like, in my sorority, we have like a Catholic Bible study, I guess. So like we all go to St. Thomas Aquinas for the most part, and we have a missionary, which is a focused missionary. So she went to college somewhere else and is like kind of devoted her life to like spreading God's message, whatever. So she now like comes and like leads our Bible study at our house. But there's a couple other sororities that also have a similar thing, but like with the girls in their chapter. And then there's also like other Bible studies too, just normal Bible studies.
That's actually, so that's like sponsored by the sorority, like something that the sorority does. So then are you guys like a religious sorority? Is that one of the things that you would advertise the sorority as, or?
Yeah, so I would say like a lot of our ritual is like Christian based, because the sorority was founded in, I think it was Alabama in like 1851.
Oh, okay, this checks
out. Yeah, it's very like Christian based, but I wouldn't say Catholic, and I wouldn't say that that's like something we like market in a way.
Okay.
It's more of like just another
something
little
that
aspect within the girls that are in it. Yeah.
Okay.
Because there's also like non-denominational Bible study that we have, and then like people who just don't do any of it, and it's totally fine too. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So
it's a mix.
Yeah. Yeah. So that makes sense. And so was this like, were you very religious in high school and then you kind of just like continued it on when you came here, or was it like something that they inspired out of you?
Yeah, good question. So in high school, not like sort of, kind of. I pretty much just went to church because I was told to, or went to youth group on Wednesdays, and that was about it. So not really. I don't think I really like understood faith at all. But I was also crazy busy then, so I feel like I was kind of hampered in that way. But coming to college definitely has been like, they like took me in kind of as one of them. And I went on a mission trip too last spring. So I think that also was kind of a transforming thing for me. Yeah.
Okay, so it kind of upgraded when you came here, and then and so then how did you get involved with the sorority then?
Yeah, so I just signed up right away for primary recruitment. I don't know if you've ever heard about how this works.
I've heard of it, but I will not claim to understand it.
It's pretty honestly, I cannot believe how much I didn't know and how much I do know now. Like in like a year and a half later, I like know, I don't know. It's crazy, but pretty much it's like 1 week of girls going through every single house, and they meet the girl. For like welcome weekend is like you talk to like a few like short conversations in every house, and they like chant as you come in. It's like a whole like organized weird social thing. Like someone should study this because it's really strange and a lot of people don't get it. But you kind of just talk to girls and feel it out, and then it kind of gets more intense every day as it goes on. So you kind of stay longer every day, and you preference houses that you like, and they also preference girls that they liked. So then it kind of ends up like you don't go back to every house every time, and it like
it gets smaller
down.
and smaller. It's
dwindles
like a
down
draft.
to like dwindles down to like 2 houses at the end, and then it's like you go to their like long ceremony things, and then you kind of get to decide of the 2 usually.
Okay, and so then did you come into college knowing that you wanted to? What was the draw for the sorority then?
Yeah.
Like, or I guess not that specifically, but just being a part of sorority life. Like, what was the draw for you?
I don't know. I feel like it's a lot of things, but I knew some girls. I did pageantry when I was younger, and I knew some girls who I knew through pageants that were in houses, and just like, also I was on a gymnastics team, so I always had like girls around, like a group of girls to be around, and I don't know. Iowa State's big. I wanted to be a part of something smaller, so
You just knew,
kind of it.
like you knew sorority was the way.
Yeah. So when I was like applying to colleges, I was like, I'm either gonna go to a private school and like do that and have like a smaller knit, like, I don't know, group, but I don't know if I totally believe that's the only thing you can do to like have it. It's not, but it was just like in my head. So I was either going to do that, or I was going to go to like a big public school and then find like an organization or club within it that I can be like super devoted to.
Okay, and so then the sorority was the thing that you ended up. Why did you choose that sorority? What about them? What about those girls?
They're gonna listen to this later.
I know. It's like, try not to be too nice, I guess.
I don't know. So preference night is the night before you the night you have to decide which house of the 2. And 80 Pie was always like super, like always the top of my list. Every time before I walked in the house, they like screamed like 80 Pie, deep in. They have these chants, whatever, and it was just like gave me chills every time. The house was beautiful, the people were amazing, and just like they could have conversations with you and keep them going, and also like connect to you further. Like it just seemed like they cared. And during the preference night, they were just all like talking about their experiences, and I was like crying the whole time.
Wow.
And I just like didn't find that with any other sorority, which that's fine. Everybody kind of finds it somewhere else. But yeah, and then I knew.
Do you think that there's a specific group of people that are in 80 Pi? Like, because I know Quentin Smith is was in a frat.
Okay.
And it's like a nerdy Super Smash Bros. Frat. You know what I mean? It's just like,
do you remember? Do you have any idea?
No, it was like the first one.
Okay.
Like
I don't know.
they have it's not like a culmination of Greek letters. It's like just called like, I don't know, like the Navigators or something. You know what I mean?
Thumpers
like
or
yeah, yeah.
I don't know either one. Something like that.
Yeah, they're called like Thumper. Is there an actually thing called Thumper here? That's pretty fantastic.
It's like I don't even know what that name comes from. That's just like their nickname.
Okay, the Thumpers.
Yeah.
So, but is there a specific kind of person that is an 80 Pi? Like, would you be able to generalize them, or are they just like a bunch of girls?
I guess depending on, I would say yes and no. Like, I feel like we're all very like overachievers. I feel like if that overachieving, very like involved, so in a way kind of a group of people, and like care a lot about things we do. But I also feel like that you can generalize anything, and it's not always the generalization that you make. Like, and a lot of stereotypes go with houses too, and I'm sure we have some more that I probably don't know completely. But yeah, I would say like we are all like super involved, almost to the point where we're too involved. But I would say, yeah, I mean, definitely, I feel like you can pick out an 80 Pi. They're just they're just vibrant. I don't know.
Just like
on
busy,
campus, like the best way I could describe it is yesterday I was walking on campus and I passed an 80 Pi and she had her earbuds in and she looks up and she's like, hey, and I like grabbed her hand. We're like, yay, whatever. It's so weird, but it's fine. And then I keep walking and then a senior in 80 Pi that I don't really know that well, she's like, oh, hey, Shay. I'm like, oh, hey, like, I like took me a minute to even like get her name going, but she knew exactly and said, "Hey, I don't know." It's just like
you could just tell with like the smile, the excitedness, probably the busyness, I'd imagine, and like the work, the drivenness, I guess is probably what. Because
I would say
I could imagine not all sororities are like that. You know what I mean? Like where that's the kind of people that are in it.
Yeah.
And I think also because I wanted to ask you about like sorority stereotypes because I feel like
I figured
those exist very strongly. And so like what do you think those are and like how are they like not true or like whatever? What is your opinion on that, I guess?
Yeah. Hot take right there. I would say there is a lot of stereotypes and I think I continue to like stereotype chapters even though like I have to remind myself that I'm like not like if I was in a different chapter, like it probably wouldn't be like that because I feel like there's a lot of different type of people within every chapter. So like just to preface that, like I don't know, that's
a really mature point to make about
it is
life.
But I don't know. But I also think that like in general, sorority is like I guess I've never really had it because I always had a positive look on it because like going in, I wasn't going to join something I didn't think was like a positive.
Yeah.
But like partying, only like staying at frats, doing, I don't know, illegal stuff, like hanging out, like barely doing work in college just to have fun or not really present. But I feel like it's so like even some sororities where you feel like that might be like more of a thing for them or I like tend to associate with them. I feel like there's it's like definitely not like that.
Not
like
as high as...
And there's definitely people in there that are super ambitious and like extremely involved. And so I don't know. I would say that stereotypes, those are the stereotypes, but it doesn't really associate with like...
Definitely not as strongly as you'd expect. Yeah, because... Well, because I know I got reached out to by Pike, like when they first came back to campus my freshman, first semester, they reached out to me and they're like, hey, do you want to help start this new frat from the ground up? And I was like, that sounds interesting. And so like I was with them.
Yeah.
And then it turned out they had actually existed here 5 years ago, but they got kicked out because of alcohol, and then I think they had some like sexual charges also, and so they got kicked out, and then they were coming back, and that was really weird because they didn't say that. Yeah, they acted as if it was like this new thing that I was going to be building, but I stuck with it anyway.
Yeah, I didn't know this. Awesome.
But I know it was so cool because what was disappointing though is, and this may not be the direction that they are now, because when I see pictures of them, I don't recognize any of the people, but I just remember sitting in one of our meetings and they were just putting up pictures of like a rager they had last night on like a slideshow, like for the whole meeting, like for the first 10 minutes. And I was like, this is not what I want to be a part of. Like this is the stereotype of frats that people have. And then they are doing nothing to combat that. They are just existing in that stereotype. And I was like, I don't really want to be a part of this. And
so fair.
I don't think I don't know if that's what they're like now, but it was interesting to be there. So I do like asking people about like the groups that they're a part of. And I know my buddy Austin is in a frat also, and his frat is not like that at all. So it's cool to hear all the different sides of like what groups are like and how you guys combat the stereotypes and everything.
It's just so hard because I don't think any one person in the Greek community like sees anything else but their own. So it's like recruitment's cool because you kind of get a little bit of everything, but also you don't know what actually happens at their chapter meetings or how they go through things or their ritual or whatever. So it's kind of like, it's very like narrow-minded in a way. Like I have no idea like what other sororities like really do. Like I kind of do, but I kind of don't.
Yeah.
So like, I guess, there's like definitely chapters that don't present themselves in the way that
that's an interesting perspective because I wonder what it would be like to set up a system to where you can kind of like stay the night in a different sorority one time. You know what I mean? Just kind of mix and match and just see what's like. But then I'd imagine that might have some loyalty issues with like people leaving and all that. So I don't know. It'd be an interesting wire to try to cross. I think that'd be cool. But
Yeah. I'm
no.
sorry you had that experience.
No, I loved it. It was so cool to like experience that.
But it's also hard because people like they that's what they end up seeing, or that's the chapter they join, and then that's what they associate with the Greek community all around.
Yeah.
So it's like it's kind of unfortunate, and those people need to stop because they're ruining it for all of us.
Yes, that's very true. Very true. Well, I always wonder what they're doing because I don't necessarily blame them. And, you know, if I was like that, I could understand wanting to be in a community of guys who are also like that. You know what I mean? So I wouldn't blame them for wanting to be a part of that. But it's just not, it's not what I'm interested in.
That's fair.
So, like, I completely understand. But I'd imagine, I am very aware that that is not how most sororities and fraternities are. So I didn't need to be convinced of that, but it's really nice to just hear, like, what your opinion on sorority life is like. So I think that's kind of why I was asking.
Oh my gosh, it's so fun. Like, I just love being able to go, like, I love not doing the dining halls and going back and, like, eating with, like, it doesn't matter who's around. Like, I'll be able to, like, have a conversation with them and feel like they're my, like, best friend.
Yeah.
Like, it's so, like, I know it sounds cheesy and it's probably, like, what everybody's supposed to say, but it's actually true. Like, I get to go back and, like, be with people, which is good and overwhelming at times.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, because that's what I was going to ask. So I'll ask you, what is the best and worst part about being a part of a sorority?
big question.
Yeah.
Best. I would say just, like, having other people to do things with. Like, you're not, in a way, this is, like, kind of made me less independent, but you're, like, not, you don't have to do anything, like, you don't want to do alone, kind of, and you have, like, a support system in everything, I guess. Like, especially faith is where that was big, and, like, that's one of the coolest things ever that, like, I probably wouldn't have had if I didn't join that, and, like, I could still get involved, but it might just be in, like, a different way. And then worst, I would say, is just the noise, like the like actual noise and just, like,
The
things going on.
Yeah,
just so much to do and so much to be done. Like, I love it and hate it all at the same time, but it's like when you have a really long day and you come home and your three roommates are trying to talk to you, and it's like you love them and you want to talk, but it's just been a long day. And so it's just like I feel like you have to figure out yourself a lot too. Like, should I actually be home right now? Like, I need to go find somewhere else to be, or just, like, figuring out what you need and not people pleasing, because that was something I was really good at freshman year.
Yeah. That's I think I would agree with you if I were to imagine myself in a similar situation, because I feel that way with a much smaller group of people that I'm with now, to where it's like, now that I know more people, I want to, like, eat lunch and just, like, watch a video, you know, just, like, chill and eat and just, you know, chill. And then, like, I have people, like, tapping my shoulder, and then I have to take out my earbud and, like, talk, you know what I mean? And so I love that I know them, and I love that they want to talk to me, but at the same time, it's like, it's hard to, once you know more people, it's hard to get that, you know, time alone. So I could definitely see that.
It's just, like, a balance. And sometimes it's cross, especially when you're, like, with these people, like, if you have, like, activities, like we had Greek week last week. And so it's like you have all these things going on, all these people around, and then you go back home when it's supposed to be, like, quiet time, go to bed, and it's still happening. So that's where it gets a little hard. But at the same time, I like people, so it's not really hard.
It's a give and take. How do you balance that then? Like,
you just kind of have to set boundaries, like, with people you live with, and, like, you can always pretty much find a spot in the house that there's no one there, but you have to, like, put yourself there. Because, like, if I study, like, upstairs on, like, the main areas, nothing gets done. Nothing. Like, I tried this all week. I was like, I don't have that busy a week, whatever. I always say that at the beginning of the week.
Yeah.
And then I'm just, like, talking to, like, 6 different people. And the funniest thing is, like, you're upstairs, whatever. You need to go fill up your water bottle downstairs. And it always takes you, like, you think it'd take you what? Like, few minutes? Yeah, 2 minutes. No. 3 hours, 2 hours later, you're, like, sitting on the couch having a deep conversation with someone who, like, stopped you. So you kind of just have to, like, be able to, like, I don't know, like separate yourself. And like, sometimes for me, that'd be like going to the library to do stuff, or like, I don't live far, so going home for the weekend or doing whatever I need to do. But
and so then how do you balance all the things that, because you are very busy, you're a very busy person. So how do you just balance, like, life in general? Like, what tips would you have for someone trying to do, what tips do you have for someone trying to be you?
Oh gosh. Well, I don't think anybody needs to be me. They need to be themselves first.
Yes.
Be them. true self.
Disclaimer for everyone.
But I guess, like, I think last semester especially, I was past busy. Like, I got to burnout for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I got to the point where I'm like, why am I doing this? Like, it's 1 a.m. and I'm sitting in my car and I really need to be in bed. Like, what am I? It was crazy. But I would say, like, I, like, plan a lot. When I get overwhelmed, I make a list. Like, when I'm, like, super stressed, I make a list. I have a whiteboard with a list, a planner with a list, and a sticky note on my computer with a list of things I need to do. And I'll probably make a list after this because I'm already thinking about the things I need to do. But I guess that, and just, like, I don't know. Like, I start, like, peeling away things that I feel like aren't, like, worth my time, which sometimes that, like, is, like, self-care, but I think adding that in will make you more productive in the end, if that makes sense. So I've just, like, found that out, and, like, getting enough sleep. But that also means, like, maybe not watching TikTok or Netflix at the end of the day and doing your homework till 10 and then go to bed. Yeah. Because, like, I don't know about you, but I do not watch TV here at college. Yeah. I, like, don't have time. Like, I just don't. It's just the first thing that gets wiped away. And it's fine because it's kind of cool. I'm just, like, I also think when I'm busy, my best advice for myself is, like, it's a season. Like, I don't think I need to be this busy all the time, but, like, I'm in college. I'm doing what I love. I'm, like, involved in things, and, like, it's not going to be like this when I'm older or, like, forever, I guess. Like, a semester long. I don't know.
That's a really good perspective on it, because I think most people don't have that grasp of, like, long-term versus, you know, I need this break now, when it's like, you're going to get this break. And I think that cutting out TV is definitely a good thing.
But also good relaxed time. Like, if that's what you need to relax, and, like, that's good. But if I'm like TV or sleep. Yeah. Like, I'm going to choose to get my 8 hours instead of watching.
Yeah, which I think I think that's the better choice. I definitely do. Yeah, I think what most people's advice would be is to find relaxation in the things that you need to do. So, like,
I like that.
Make sure that the things that you're doing, so, like, this podcast relaxes me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's a time to do something, so it's like an hour and a half, 2 hour chunk of time that I have to allocate to this. And people could see it as, like, how do you have time to do that? It's like, well, this is my relaxing time. You know what I mean? So this is chill time for me. And so do you have things that you end up doing? Like, I'd imagine photography is pretty relaxing for you. I'd imagine art is pretty relaxing for you. So is that kind of, like, how you balance it, or?
Yeah, I would say, like, actually, like, I think I pray, like, almost every day. So I feel like that's something, too, that's, like, a relaxing, like, it's still, like, I'm doing something, I'm not sleeping. But I'm, like, it's kind of a rejuvenation time for me. And also, like, depending on the art, I would say is relaxing. Like, metals and woods that I took, not so relaxing. Like, no. But I'm in textiles right now, and we're learning to embroider. And I'm just, like, sitting on the couch embroidering and, like, putting music on or whatever, and it's so relaxing. Oh, yeah. So in a way, yes, and it kind of just depends on where I'm at and what I'm doing, but yeah.
Yeah, and, you know, maybe too philosophical, but I don't think life is meant to be relaxing. I think, like, the point of growth and, like, being a better person is to not be comfortable all the time, and so I think there is merit into, like, cutting out some of the relaxation, of the relaxation that you have, if it's, like, watching TV.
I like your comment about the comfort thing. Sometimes I'm like, oh, like, I don't want to do this, but it's like, I'm not going to grow if I'm not if I'm not uncomfortable, I'm not going to grow. So I'll be fine.
It's like when you're sore and it's like, you have to work out, but you're sore, and it's like, I don't want to work out, but that's, like, that's when you should be working out, is when you don't want to. And so it's kind of like the same aspect for relaxation that I like. And I think it seems as if you kind of have to have that mentality if you're going to be busy. Like, if you're going to be productive, you kind of have to find the mental shortcuts that allow you to be as occupied as you are.
Yeah, I definitely think, like, freshman year, last semester to now, it's like I've been busy, but I've, like, understood that, like, I can only do so much too, and, like, overworking is not gonna be in my best benefit. So it's also just, like, learning that, like, I don't need to have everything to put on a resume or be perfect at everything. Like, it's it's not worth it. So that too has been coming to me now, like sophomore year, like out of high school. Like,
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So what were some of the things that you cut out? Like, what were some of the things that you found just weren't high enough on your list of things to do?
I would say, like, other than STA and ADPi, I don't really have, like, a ton of clubs that I dedicate time to, like, outside of, like, that. So I feel like freshman year I was trying to, like, see what I liked and, like, be involved in, like, a few different things here and there. And not that, like, those organizations aren't really awesome. I just, like, I'm like, it's not, like, not really getting the same benefit or the same connection. So I'm just like, is it worth it just to go and do it and say I did it? Probably not.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I feel like that's something that kind of got cut off.
Where you drew that line.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I saw that you were part of Trend magazine freshman year. And then there's something else that you're part of, some sort of photo printing.
Print club. I've gone like once.
Yeah. That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
It was like Valentine's card making.
Yeah.
And I was like so drained after that too. It was like a 4-hour thing on a Saturday after I'd been doing art all week.
Yeah, no way.
And I'm like, I don't think I can do this.
Yeah, no way. No way. I mean, I like art enough, but not enough to spend. That's the biggest thing. I'll talk to like people who are doing art majors or like their design majors, and their classes are 5-hour long art studios where they just sit in there and it's like, could not imagine.
Studios fly by like it's 10 minutes though.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I mean, that's how you know you like it though. If it flies by like that, then you picked the right thing to be doing with your time, I guess.
Yeah. True.
Yeah. So, you are the, you have some position in ADPi.
Yeah.
Public relations.
Yeah.
Yes. So what do you do for that, and how did you get that, and why?
Yeah. So freshman year, I applied to be sisterhood chair. So last year, calendar year, I did like all these like just sisterhood events throughout the year of like little get-togethers, pretty much, and we just did some activities. And then I kind of, which isn't like a high key position, but I want to kind of like step up a little bit. So I applied to be director of public relations. And pretty much it's like kind of 2 parts, technically, like outreach like to the community and like ADPi to the community, but also social media. So like that is in a way like outreach to the community, but it's like so like it's its own thing of its own, which that's mostly heavily where my like job falls. So I create all the posts and a monthly calendar of what we're gonna post, and I do all of that.
So you're the Instagram,
I'm
the Instagrammer for. I mean, that's pretty cool. It's a pretty mandatory position too, though. I know some people who do that stuff for their fraternity, and so did you get that position? Did you seek out that position because you're kind of familiar with doing that, or were you kind of? Did someone promote you to that, or that like Shayla would be good for this, or is it something that you kind of sought out? Yeah,
so we do elections in like October time for the next year to follow, and sort of like I don't know. People know I'm super creative. I always like freshman year I was like painting banners for ADPi and like blood, sweat, and tears, freshman's duty stuff. Just kidding.
Serving your time.
Yeah, no, seriously, but it was worth it. So just they can see I'm pretty creative and like doing that. And so they kind of were like, you'd be great at this. And then I'm like, yeah, it kind of does sound cool. And I actually ran for it when I was a freshman, but I didn't get it. And I got sisterhood instead kind of thing. And so I was like, I'll run for it again, and got it and enjoy it.
I mean, that's kind of awesome though. And it definitely looks good on a resume to
That's
have
true.
a leadership position on.
It's like a different side of design for sure than like my studio stuff, because first of all, it's digital, and I don't do a ton of digital things. We do a little, and just like posting and making it like marketing too, like the marketing side of things, business side of things. So
yeah, you can really kind of work it into anything, which I think is the point, since you're in studio, media, and entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
So this is kind of like exactly what you need to be doing.
That's so true.
To look good for those two majors.
And like with like Belle Brand Art, like my photography business, like I'm always posting and doing stuff on that too. So it's kind of, again, a little bit much because I have 3 Instagram accounts now. 80 Pi definitely gets priority.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's also interesting. Like I feel like I tend to like push 80 Pi above everything, like over and over.
Why do you think that is? Is that because there's more people involved with it, so you kind of have people on your shoulders on that, or is there like a more intrinsic motivation to do that for 80 Pi?
Well, it's definitely like I'm living there. I'm in 80 Pi, doing 80 Pi. Like it's full on 80 Pi right now, especially like sophomore year and just being at college. I think is like I'm around them, and also I have an exec member that's like oversees what I do and is like kind of keeping track of making sure I'm doing my job, and then also like an adult advisor over her. So they're both kind of like I have to send my posts to and get them approved, and like so I'm like I'm very. I don't know. They keep me accountable more so than like my own business. Like
there's a little more to lose, like in this kind of situation. Not that you're in the constant threat of losing this position, but it does make sense. How many people are in 80 Pi? Like
I think there's like it's like 120, maybe no, 110. I think.
That's a pretty sizable sorority. Is that one of the bigger ones on campus?
I would say we're like kind of average.
Oh wow.
At this point.
Okay.
We've been trying to do like continuous open recruitment, which is like we're recruiting throughout all of after initial recruitment last fall. We've been kind of recruiting till now. So we've been trying to get numbers up and more. And I think it's like an all around like problem too is that nobody's like reaching total, getting enough members to like sustain their housing and everything. So it's kind of an all around problem with numbers.
In all fraternities and sororities, or just?
I don't know if it's like, I think in general sororities and fraternities like across the nation, and especially like at Iowa State, like numbers are kind of dropping altogether.
Okay. Is there a reason for that?
I don't know.
The shortage, sorority shortage.
I think recruitment is kind of scary to people, and unfortunately, people like you get to go in and see something and
that maybe is not
dip out right away.
Yes, but I will take credit for that.
So some of that stereotypes, I'd say, and just like less people going to college. I don't know if that's 100% right. Don't quote me, but I feel like a lot of people are kind of.
There's probably a lot of online college too, where people got used to it, and now it's just something.
Or like
that they
COVID,
want to do.
and now people just want to like sit at home.
Yeah, honestly, that is a huge deal. Where like people are just used to working at home, and that now they just want to do it.
Like sorority and fraternity life is like a lot of interaction. So if you're not a person who's like, I don't know, super like I guess you don't. Not everybody's super interactive, but like you have to be able
to
and
appreciate it
to
and be able to do it. Yeah. No, I'd imagine that. That'd be the thing. So, I kind of wanted to talk about your photography a little bit because I've seen that. So, how did that start? Like, why did you, or when, why, and like, how did you start doing that? The 5 W's or whatever.
Whatever. So last June, I was kind of like, I wasn't super busy last summer. So me trying to get one more thing to do.
Yeah. Another thing on the list.
Yeah. I kind of just have always like wanted to take pictures of people and like have done it for friends, and I'm like, why not like make this official? So last summer, honestly, I was literally in the car on the way to Iowa City for like a back appointment. I had surgery right before senior year of high school, so that was going for a checkup like a year later or so. And I was just with my mom. I'm like, I want to start a business. She's like, okay. So I started like typing in stuff, getting my EIN number and my like website going. And I kind of worked on it all last summer, and it was a really good time. But now I do pictures for people, mostly outdoor stuff. I don't really have a studio, so I don't really get to do that very much. But when I do, it's pretty cool. But so that's why. Always kind of loved it. I got a new camera too last fall, which helped because I was able to learn it, and I have equipment so I can use it and make money from it too. And then what was the other one? Why, how, and
how?
Oh, how? Like, how do I do it?
Yeah. Well, like, how do you manage that now? And then like, what are you continually putting into this, like on like a day to day? I guess.
Yeah. So I probably don't put any. I don't put every day I probably don't put something into it, but I'd say every month, and it definitely depends on like season and weather and like big times. Because so far this year, I had a styled shoot with a wedding photographer, so I got to like do a little bit with her. And then now, like starting next week, I'll have a bunch of graduating seniors from Iowa State to do, which is exciting.
Yeah.
So exciting. I think I have like 20 people or something that I'm taking images for. Yeah.
Wow.
So it's gonna be busy, but I'm really excited about it. It's probably like my biggest like thing yet. And it's just been like a little things, little by little. And it's been like people I know or people that knew of me from someone I knew. But it's kind of cool now. People are kind of just like reaching out to me on social media or like some other form and just wanting to do shoots with me. So
that's really sweet. I didn't know. So
yeah.
then, so you started doing that, and is this something that you're gonna want to continue doing? Like, what's the game plan for this?
Yeah, I hope so. I really do. I want to do more and maybe like do my own weddings too eventually. Maybe not this summer, but in the following years. And just, see where it goes.
I was like, because I saw
keep getting
those
clients and
the either engagement or wedding photos. Like they looked professional, like as in
thank you. Yeah.
indistinguishable from any other wedding photos that I've seen. So
thank you very much.
It looked like you were doing just normal wedding photos anyway. So
yeah, true. Yeah. That was like the styled shoot thing. But yeah, just like having my own and just I feel like it's another step too to like coordinate that and make sure you're like getting everything you need on a wedding day. It's like I feel like way higher stakes than the things I've done.
Yeah.
So I'm like a little anxious about that, but
oh yeah, it'd be
like,
scary to
also like gotta be uncomfortable to grow, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So get on it, Shayla. Let's get those weddings going. But
well, it's gonna be interesting because this fall I'm going to Rome.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm studying abroad in Rome in August.
You're studying abroad? So like through ISU?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I booked my flight like this morning. Like
that's
we got
so
it done.
awesome.
I know. So that's another uncomfortable, but
I was gonna say, but yeah, you can bring your camera there and you'll have some awesome pictures to take there.
I know, I'm looking forward to it, but
And so wait, why study abroad? Was that just like something you were interested in and then like you went out and are doing it, or is there another reason as to why?
So last fall, they started doing like these presentations over it and during our studios because it's like Iowa State has a building in Rome. So they employ people that are local to Rome. So it's still like Iowa State education, I would say. But Rome professors, so it's kind of not, and they were doing like presentations over it last fall, and that was when I was really over everything I was doing. I was like, I think I need this. I think I need a change. I think I need a little adjustment and like to be in a different environment. So I literally sat through that presentation 2 times in one day because my first studio went to it, and then my second studio went to it. I'm like, I was just convinced. Yeah. And we also had 2 students in my medals class, or 3, that were like studying abroad here. So there's 2 from the Netherlands and 1 from Germany. And just like hearing them and like their stories of like being here and how much it has like changed, like it'd been impactful, and like how they one of the things that like stuck with me was they're like, it's not just like a vacation or like you're visiting a culture and seeing it. It's like you're living there. Like it's like your home, and like you learn so much more from that. And I'm just like, that's pretty cool. Because I feel like you can travel and go somewhere for a couple weeks or so, but when are you going to be able to go for like 3 months?
3 months and have consistent things to do, like have a school curriculum that you're going to have to be. I mean, that's awesome. First off, so I'm very excited to hear about that.
Yeah, I'm sure you'll see a lot of it.
Yes, I very am. But so how are you going to continue doing the things that you're doing now? So is this going to be like, especially with like the sorority and with like photography and with your church, like it's just going to be like, here's a break and then.
Yeah, it's going to be definitely a shift. Like, I don't really know the answers. And like for AD Pi stuff, like I will still have my position this fall. So I don't really know how that's going to look. And luckily my position is kind of like mostly online. Like I don't have to be with people, but also that would be really hard if I don't have anyone here like on my team or like doing like helping me. So it's definitely going to take a couple more conversations that I still need to have.
Yeah, but I definitely think that it's still very obviously worth it to like go and experience it. Yeah. But And I think that's probably almost be a good thing to take a break. It's kind of one of those like.
And I don't know if it'll be a break because it's still gonna be like a lot going on. We're gonna like travel on weekends and go see things, but I don't know. I've lived here. I go to school here. I'm like, what happens if I throw myself in a massive city for 4 months? Let's see how I do. I don't know.
This is the
Just
challenge.
spontaneous,
This is the hard mode challenge here. Yeah. I mean, that's really cool though. Do you have people that you're going with?
Yeah.
Like, so you're not just like completely alone.
No, I'm not completely alone.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm not completely. That's the other thing. Like, I feel comfortable about this, especially since I'm in a class now that is like preparing us for this. So I know not everyone in the class, but I know like a lot of people in the class, and I've had classes with them. And then also 3 girls in my sorority are going on the same study abroad trip.
Okay.
They're in interior design, and I'm in studio art. So we have different like classes for the most part, but they're going for the whole time the same.
Okay,
so,
that makes it a lot better. So they have a class. What are they preparing you for? Like, how does that work?
Question.
I'm very
like, what does
interested.
That mean?
What is that class like?
It's been interesting. It's mostly overwhelming. We started talking about like the culture and like neighborhoods of Rome and like where we will be and like any like doubts we have. I feel like it was mostly like convincing us to go in a way. Not convincing, but like help comforting us, like that everything will be okay. And then there's like also Rome ambassadors who have been on the trip before and studied in Rome and like their experiences and their tips and tricks and whatever. So it's kind of that. And then also like the technical information, like helping us with our visas and making sure we have all our information, and like classes and like how that'll work. So
yeah, that'll be crazy. I could not imagine, because I hear a lot about study abroad, and it's kind of one of those things that everybody talks about wanting to do, but have no realistic wants to actually go and do it. And so it is interesting.
Like, I should have done that. Oh, that would have been so
these phrases. I could go to Rome or Paris and study abroad, but and then that's the end of the conversation. But it's cool you're actually like taking the step to go.
I mean, all I had to do was sign up for this class once a week and not commit. They know how to market it to us because they're like, sign up for this class and like learn about it. You're not like saying you will go, but like you're in the class, like you're probably gonna go.
Yeah.
So all I had to do is click, yep, I want to do that on my Access Plus, and so I'm in the class, and now it's like they're telling me everything I need to do and how it's gonna be great. So it's like they're doing well. They're doing well at what they want.
They're convincing you to do this. That's cool. I'd always wondered like how they prepare, because I'd imagine I don't know anything about Rome, so this may be very uneducated, but I imagine that they speak primarily English, like because it's a very touristy area.
They said, I mean, their like primary language is Italian, but they also like everyone probably speaks both.
Yeah.
But I'm not 100% sure about like little neighbor cities like with outside, or like if we're traveling. So
like it might get.
But for the most part, I think everyone has some English.
Are you gonna learn?
Is kind of naive of us.
I'll say you'll see. Are you gonna learn a little Italian?
I really want to.
Yeah.
Like in my heart, I really want to, but I have yet to dive into that.
Did you know that Luke is in Italy right now?
I did not.
He's in Sicily.
I feel like
for the Air Force.
Okay.
Yeah, and he's just chilling down there. Just him. Nobody else from like home. So it's just him chilling down there. So maybe you could talk to him and connect to him about learning Italian and that whole area.
What'd you say he was in
Air Force? Yeah.
Air Force.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I didn't know that.
He's doing not Air Force. He's air traffic controller.
Okay.
For the Navy. But it's a weird
that
like
sounds
mix.
like Air Force.
Yeah, it's basically the Air Force. The way he talks to me about it's like, okay, you're basically in the Air Force.
Okay,
so
wow,
but
cool.
yeah, so you'll have to connect to him to see talk about I guess just being in a different country, because
shock for sure.
I would say I've never been to a different country, period. So it's just cool hearing.
You should study abroad.
I was gonna say I've always thought about it. I don't know where I'd go though. Do you have any suggestions?
I don't know. Rome. Well, Rome is very like art oriented, and I'm like in an art history class right now that's talking about all these pieces of art that were created in Italy, and it's like super cool that I'm gonna go like see them in person. But I don't know. Are you psychology?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there's not really. So that's the fun thing about.
Go to Hawaii.
Yeah, that would be cool. Hawaii, or I don't know. Maybe I'd like to go to New York City. Just most people. I think probably
Yeah.
one of the saddest
A
populations.
lot
of
of people
too.
in my sorority, I feel like, do like week or like break study abroads. Like you have a little class and like on spring break you'll go somewhere for a week and you come back. Like there's like I think that's a lot of agriculture people too that do that. Like they went to Australia for spring break or Costa Rica and you get to like. But that's to me more like a vacation.
I was just saying, yeah.
So I'm just like, I'm so excited to be there.
Yeah,
I'm so excited.
You're gonna live in Rome for 3 months. I mean, you could say you're from Rome for
I'm
at least a week.
probably gonna get lost on the bus.
Yeah,
It's fine.
No, that'd be funny. Yeah. So back to the photography.
Yeah.
So what? I guess it might be rude to ask this, but what kind of like financial investment and then intake do you get from this? Like doing this, is this something that like actually kind of fuels you like financially, or is this just something that kind of like breaks even? And because I can imagine that having 20 clients could be like actually a pretty good chunk of change.
So, I mean, I guess with like equipment wise, probably like not even breaking even yet.
Yeah.
Just because my camera's so expensive, but also my parents have helped me a lot, and like I feel like I'm fairly financially stable as it is, like even being a college student. So it's kind of mostly been play and like just getting experience and like that being enough, like that being my pay in a way. But now it's becoming more like actually like some money to either like save or put on the side or like at least
or invest back into
or at least maybe
business.
not cover school. Yeah, maybe not cover like schooling, but like extra things other than schooling and like my dues and stuff. So, yeah. I don't know. I'm hoping for more soon, but at the same time I'm like it's not like the end all be all. But like this summer, like I probably couldn't just do photography if that makes sense.
Yeah, you'd have to do something else on the what do you think you'd want to do?
This is the $1 million question.
Yeah.
And I have no idea. I applied for an internship at Meredith. It's a editorial magazine company out of Des Moines. And hopefully I'll be doing that, but we'll see. And I don't know. I'm thinking like waitress or something.
Okay, yeah.
I'm thinking something random.
Yeah,
like,
just
I'm gonna be here for 2 months, and I
Yeah.
want to stay here because I'm gonna be gone all fall. So I'm just like,
might as well do something. Hey, and
so if you see me at a restaurant,
I was gonna say, see you at like a Texas Roadhouse or something.
yeah, I
like,
don't know. That would be a good idea.
No.
Any ideas?
Just kidding. No.
I've been asking
Yeah. Say maybe you could work for like the Ames newspaper, or maybe go back to Trend or something, and then see if we work with them. But I bet you there's got to be some positions. No, probably not in the summer. Maybe like in the design building, like to do.
Yeah.
I think there's a store there where you buy art supplies, like something like that. You know what I mean? So, or I don't know, maybe something on campus that you could say is more art related than
I
other
know.
things.
See, that's like my number one thing, but then I'm like, I'm not gonna make any money doing that. Like I'm out. Like I don't know. It's fine. Like sometimes you just I don't know. You can't get both in a way.
Yeah.
So.
And so most people have to do a job that's not directly related to what they're doing anyway.
Yeah.
So it's not like a bad thing.
No.
Make some money. But hey, who knows? Maybe
I'll get something really good out of it, or a connection.
Or meet somebody,
or
or who knows? Maybe the photography business just like explodes this summer, and you are like booked day in day out to do photo shoots and stuff. So who knows? We'll pray for it, I guess, is what we'll do. So with the photography thing, what would be something? How could you like expand this like to something bigger? Like, or are you looking to hire more people? Are you looking to like get a studio? Like what's the next? Like let's say 5 years from now you have a ton of money. You know what I mean? Like what are you putting?
No
into
money
this?
actually, just out of college.
Well, let's say it explodes and you get just like a ton of money. Like what are you going to do to like grow this?
Yeah. So I've always like, there's a reason I call it like Belle Brand Artistry and not like Shayla Timm Photography or Belle Brand Photography, because I want to like, I feel like there's other things, especially now being in like studio art, that I'm going to want to incorporate in it. So like, I don't know, I really like ceramics. So even someday having like a ceramic studio or selling other types of art, like my paintings, or including a painting in some type of, like if I did a wedding, I photographed a wedding for someone, I also would include like a painting in the package with that. Or just like, I don't know, some spin on it that's more geared to like the things I love and I like have been going to school for.
Like adding an art element to
Yeah, or like a studio art side of it as well. So
that's a really good idea. Like if you're gonna film a wedding, like also give them a painting.
Yeah.
Because I know most weddings, like they have someone paint something, like either a picture of like the bride and the groom or like something along those lines. So
or like maybe it would be that I don't really like photographing weddings. I don't want to be there for 9 hours. Like maybe it's not for me. Well, then maybe I just go to the ceremony and I paint on site, like their ceremony or something super awesome. Like, I don't know. I feel like that kind of doesn't limit me in a way. So that's kind of my idea. And yeah, having space to do that would be essential.
Oh, yeah. And then would you think about hiring people also onto it and have like a workforce of people?
Honestly, to grow, I feel like it's almost necessary, but I don't know. I haven't really thought too much about it.
Yeah.
Like I'm my one-man band right now.
It's Shayla versus the world. So, but I mean, like I said, it still is really cool. What are some of like, because I've always wondered, like, what are some of the struggles that you have with doing that? Like, you run your own business, which isn't something that I think most people are doing right now. So, walk people through, like, if you're gonna walk someone through, like, starting their own photography business, like, how do you even do that?
Oh gosh.
What did you struggle with? And
I
what did you
struggled
overcome?
with, having everything set up, like website and everything consistent, and then also like making sure I don't know. I feel like the more you do it, the more efficient I get at it. But it's like reaching, like if someone reaches out to me, like how does that transaction work of their initial like conversation of, oh, I want to book with you? Is it like there's so many avenues you can take in figuring out which one's right or which website company is best, and just like that was kind of challenging and like still is, because it's like some people will direct message me, but I kind of have a website set up. You can like send in a inquiry, but it's also I have to then message them. So every time I'm writing a whole new message. So it's like ways I can make this more efficient, and there definitely is. It's just like my own knowledge of what it is, I think, has been hardest in like figuring that out. But,
yeah, so I actually am interested on like the technical aspect of building that website. Like, how did you go about that? Did you just like, I mean, I know nothing about starting a business from the ground up, so it's like,
well, you should. A podcast business.
I was to say, this is so I get people to sign up to be on the show, but you know, how did you build that website or have someone build it? Like, what did you do for that?
Yeah, so first of all, I just started researching and like figuring out what other photographers did and like what companies they went through. And then I chose like Zenfolio. I don't know if it matters, but it's just like a company that does like you can create your own website, have galleries through it. And so it was kind of all set up in a way for me, but then just going through and adding my own things and like my own information and pictures and everything that I liked on it. And then like just like the cost of that too, which is like kind of hard if you're not making money to like be paying for that, and like setting up your own domain and like all these little things I had no idea about. But the fortunate thing is that my mom also has owned a few businesses and has gone through this, so she kind of knows. So I'm like manager mom, I guess. I'm like, so what do I do now? What does this mean? Like, what do these forms mean? Like, it's a lot of not knowing, and I think that's okay.
And would you say that hill overcoming, like, because I can imagine that discourages a lot of people who are trying to start their own thing. So do you think overcoming that hill kind of puts you in a really good spot, or is it just kind of just annoying to deal with everything like that?
No, I think it really helps, because it, like, I know a lot of people will just do like a Facebook page with their like little business, or like an Etsy account, or like things like that. But I think it's, I don't know, it's especially empowering that it's like set up like as my company, and like it's also official and seems more professional in that way. So I think after getting over that and just like figuring some things out there, it definitely like gave me more of an initiative to like want people to book for me, and then they see I'm like actual legit thing. I'm not just like some
Just
girl
some-
taking pictures
Yeah,
or like
yeah.
of my friends. You know, I like wanted to step up from that. And I don't know if that's for everyone, like that's the route everyone needs to go, but that's kind of what was happening in my head. I was like, I need to do this.
Yeah.
you
So
know?
what would you suggest for people if they wanted to start their own
Business.
photography
Yeah.
specifically, but then like business in general?
I would suggest just like, I think the moment I was like, I can do this is when a wedding photographer DM'd me and was like, I really love your style and I want to take you on my team. I was like, what? Like someone like went to my DMs and
Yeah.
just like, and like that acknowledgement was like, yeah, I guess like I can do this. So I think just having connections with people who are really good at what they do, really good photographers, have their business. I think that's like the first thing you should do, and ask questions, because everyone's going to have different answers. But if you get a few answers, you can kind of pick what you think is best. And I think just connection would probably be the biggest thing.
Yeah, I guess people, if you're trying to start a photography account, you can reach out to Shayla to answer those questions for
Yeah.
you. So I said, you're the big connection now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you're the connection that starting people are trying to make to get theirs
Appreciate
going.
that.
So this is
Sometimes-
the bigger fish.
Yeah.
You know.
It's, now that you bring that up, I think another hard part is like thinking that my work is also professional, like in my own head. Like I deserve to be like compensated well for this because I produce good work. It's
Yeah.
like this line of like, am I, like, should I even be making money off this, or should I just be nice and just do it? And it's like it's like an inner like turmoil almost of like how much do I deserve, or how much is, I don't know. It's always the battle.
It's always hard to judge yourself accurately, just in general. But then to put like a monetary value,
That and just like, yeah, in general.
like here's a number that I'm worth.
Am I worth like, are people gonna want me to take their photos? Like, am I worth that? Like, it's always this question in the design world, but
and I think
you got to get over it.
I think it's probably a good question to have too, and there's probably value in thinking that you're worth slightly less than you actually are, so that you can keep striving to be better. You know what I mean? It's a
Too
motivator.
much ego.
Yeah, so I think it's better to think that you deserve less when it comes to a business than it is to think you deserve more. That's my guess, but I haven't thought about it too much. But I could see benefit in.
Yeah. Maybe in the entrepreneurship world, they would say opposite.
Yeah, it depends on who you ask, what they're doing, and what kind of people
but
they
I
are.
agree.
I guess.
Like, if you're not humble in what you're doing, no one's probably going to learn to work with you. So.
Yeah. Well, it's a good external motivator to, like, strive to be better than you are. Like, strive to be better than the version of you the day before.
Yeah, and it's just like, I'm always like, am I being too hard on myself, though? And then there's that question. I'm like, probably.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
I know, and you need to have somebody else like talk to you about it and say like, I think your photography is good.
Yeah.
Personally, I think it's really good.
It's kind of crazy how much affirmation we need.
To like
Artists
do
and
something.
creatives, and just like being able to like go do something with other people. Like,
I know it's bizarre because like with this podcast, just recently, like 5 episodes ago, I had someone reach out to me and was like, I like what you do. I want to be on the show. And that was like this is the start. You know what I mean? This is where it starts. So
well, when you reached out to me, I was like, I went through this, and like I still am, of like I wanting like friends, or just like people I know that like I'm inspired by, like to take photos of them, and then like use that to also promote. And like in a way, I was like, yes, I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna do this. Like, I know what it feels like to go through this. So
well, it's awesome to get that validation of like starting out, because this isn't something that, obviously it's not something I get paid for, and it's not something that I want to do as like a career, but I want to do this for indefinitely. You know what I mean? I'd love to just talk to people and like be able to spend a couple hours.
You're good at it.
So thank you. So I do it a lot, so I'm always talking. But I'd love to do this and have an excuse to spend 2 hours just talking to people. So it's really awesome to get like the support of being like, okay, I understand, but it's hard to convince people to be on my show. You know what I mean? Like it's hard to go up to people and be like, this will be a good experience for you. Especially, I'm trying to get like professors on and faculty on and adults. And for me to be like, your busy schedule deserves to have me involved for an hour and a half. It's a hard sell. And so like, I'm trying to find a way to like do that with people and just convince them like, hey, you should do this.
Well, I'm not going to lie. The idea was less fun than it has been so far.
Yeah. Yes, I know.
You know, like, I don't know how you portray that. And I guess
well,
it's
it's hard because
workshop, but
yeah, especially with a podcast, like you have to like podcasts to be even interested in being on a podcast. You know what I mean? You have to kind of like understand. It's hard to convince someone who doesn't like podcasts to be like, yeah, you will just talk for an hour.
Do you feel like podcasts have been like up and coming more recently? Or do you feel like that's just you've been more aware of them?
I definitely think they've been up and coming because during COVID, we wanted to act like we were hanging out with people. And so we just listened to conversation and be like, yeah, I'm there right now. So I definitely think it was also podcasts you can do anywhere, anytime. So like people want, especially with actors and like comedians, they just started doing podcasts because they couldn't be in movies anymore. True. So they're like how do I do the late night talk show thing?
We can talk. Like, they can talk. They do it as a profession.
Yeah, they're like, hey, we can just Zoom call. And then people find me interesting, so I'll just do that. So that's really where it started, and now they're everywhere. So,
I'm not a huge podcast person, but when I find one I like, I get into it.
Yeah, I think it's a big. I can't listen to podcasts unless I'm doing something else, like walking, or like working out, or like driving, or cleaning.
Driving, that's a good one.
I know my buddy Adam. I shout out Adam in every podcast, just inadvertently, but this is my Adam shout out. Buddy Adam, he only watches podcasts, like he just watches them. Like he sits down and watches them, which is just, I could not imagine just sitting down and doing that. But I mean, hey, that's what hopefully people are doing with my show. So alas, I'll take what I can get for it.
Yeah, it's more of a listening with another action going on.
Yeah,
thing
So I kind of wanted to end this with a question that I've been trying to ask most people that I have on the show, which is kind of like the overarching question, but like, how do the things that you do serve you? Like, how does it make you a better person? So with your faith, with the sorority, and with photography, like, how do these things influence the way you feel, period, but about yourself, about life, about everything? So like, why are these good things?
Yeah, I'd like to say I'm pretty well-rounded. Like, I feel like all these, well, at least like in my eyes, these three things are like, I guess, most important, but they also each like check and balance in a way each other. So like, I don't know, my sorority is like time to have fun, but also like connections and interactions and like my social life for sure. Like, these are my people. And then like faith is, to me, like there is some like fellowship and like connections there, but also just like my own like meditation and like growth, I guess. And like humbling too. Like, I've learned that like in our society, it's always like go, achievements and do whatever you can. And I feel like even in my sorority, like that's what it is. And like, that's how I was in high school too. But faith has definitely like helped me balance that more. And like, I'm still striving for that. And then photography, I think in a way, photography is like the thing the thing I can like give to others, or like a way I can like serve people. And it's really cool when I get to take pictures of someone and then their self-esteem and confidence goes up like 100 times. And it's just like I remember why I do this, and I get to like see moments and like be in like, I don't know, intimate spaces or just like interactions of like people. And I don't know, it's really special. So I get to like share that. I think it's so cool because it's art, but it's like with people. And it's also like I can use art, but also interact with others and not be like in my own little world. But I would say like faith is kind of my own little world. So it's kind of, I don't know, they all three encompass each other.
Fills the pie. Yeah. I think that's awesome. That's a very good, it's a good separation of like reasons to do things. And I like particularly the photography one because it's like art of people. Yeah. You know what I mean? And normally when you do art, the purpose of it is to like entertain others.
Or like a message or like some sort of
Yeah, it's not,
emotion
like,
evoked.
it's something to give to others that doesn't always necessarily like benefit them on an intrinsic level, or it's just more like like it's entertaining. It's awesome to look at. But I feel like with photography, it's like I'm giving you a piece of you. You know what I mean? Like I'm cutting it out and then handing it back to you bigger. You know what I mean? And so it's a cool way to look at it, to be like, I'm not giving you something that I made. I'm just giving you you. You know what I mean? So I think that's actually a really cool way to, like, as I was saying, write this down.
This
I
is
think
on
it's a
my
really cool way to
website.
so I'm going to get that tattooed. But yeah, I think that's a really cool way to put it, and like a really cool avenue to look at it. But I'll take this time to, if you want to do any plugging for your sorority, for the church, for your Instagrams, just anything, this is your time to just like tell people where to find you.
Yeah, so I guess for sure my photography website is bellebrandartistry.com, and then bellebrandartistry.com, or Belle Brand Artistry in my Instagram as well. And then, and my links and stuff are in there. And 80 Pi's Instagram is ISU Alpha Delta Pi. So yeah, you can see all the things I make on there of others. It's like another way I can give too through that. So it's pretty special. And and my LinkedIn, I think it's just Shayla Timm. Yeah. Got my resume and I just made this, guys.
If anybody wants to hire Shayla as a waitress, I'm
still workshopping that. But hopefully something. But.
Yeah. Well, it was awesome having you on, Shayla.
Yeah. Thank you, Elijah.